It's another beautiful day, and I'm really glad to be here today. We want to have a discussion on, are we doing enough when it comes to mentoring our young women? And we're also going to try and share our experiences. What is your experience, and how has it been for you when it comes to the matters of mentorship? Uh, I'm really glad to be doing this together with you. And in case this is the first time you're joining us here, Tabitha Susan Njoroge is my name, also known as Tabisu Njoroge, a counseling psychologist by profession. I'm also a mother of two and a 3-year-olds, a wife, and more importantly, I'm born again, and serving is a calling. I'm saved to serve. And I believe our lives are also called to serve and give back. And when we come to talk about these matters, I want us to just think about two questions. Is your experience on mentorship or being mentored? How did you build relationships? When you think of your own life in matters of mentorship, whether as a young lady, a lady, even the boy child, but today we are going to try and focus on the ladies. And do we feel like we are doing enough? Also, as I was doing research, I came across this, and one of the doctors, her name is Barbara Newman, was giving a talk, and she was also talking about new methods for mentoring and meeting the needs of the post-modern woman. And we are going to try and just ask ourselves these questions. And do you feel like the needs of the young women are being met? And do you feel like we are doing enough? And when it comes to mentorship, and you think of the word mentor, I believe mentor is whereby older women are able to guide the younger ladies. And also a question comes, do you feel like our younger ladies are willing to be mentored? That's a question in many of the places where you find people saying, okay, we have a forum, but we're not seeing the young ladies coming. Do you feel like the young ladies are also willing? And I believe there is a generation open to mentorship who need the godly influence of older and more mature women. So yes, we have a generation that is really hungry for information, hungry to get to know, hungry to get to understand, what can I do things different, how do I do them? And I look at 4 points where we can help improve our relationships, so that when our relationships are in order, even mentoring and understanding and getting a young lady to work with will be easy. So I came across this, and research shows that around 80% of mentorship that was done a couple of decades ago, there are some methods that can be retained. However, there are some that need to be improved. And we're going to see some of the methods that we can improve, so that as we are even journeying and working with our young ladies, we'll be able to do it more effectively. So number one, I found that, just like I've said, that one generation is responsible to pass information to the next generation. And this is a question for you. Do you feel like you're doing enough in the capacity that you are? Do you feel like you're doing enough in passing information to a generation that is younger than you? If not, I hope by the time we are finishing this discussion, you'll have identified the areas that you need to improve. So the first way in which and why it is important for relationship building in effective mentorship is older, spiritual, mature ladies need to choose and get an opportunity to choose their own mentor. And as you're choosing an old mentor or a mentor per se, you need to look for the following qualities. Can you see godliness in them? Is your faith also at par with them? And some of these things need to be seen. At times we say that faith is about action. So do you feel like the mentor you're choosing, as you're looking at them and you're looking at the way they are doing things, do you feel like it's something that you would like to emulate? And mentorship is not about you wanting to be like the other person, but getting to know, getting to understand, getting to ask questions. And they're also available, and we are going to see that point on also availability. Also, as you're working on mentoring young women, it is important to drop schedules. And what do we mean about dropping schedules? And here is whereby you allow the younger woman to tell you or to tell us when they may need us to meet, for how long, etc. And at times it's also important to allow them to even give a time frame, like maybe I want us to meet once a week, or maybe you can be having sessions twice a month or twice in every 2 weeks. And when you are able to also be flexible in your schedules, this allows these younger ladies to be open to even share. I remember nowadays even the one-on-one talks are more important. They are actually very possible. They actually give a very big impact, because when we show that we are actually available, that I can be flexible, I can be able to journey with you, that will help them and know that, wow, she's able to create time for me. And that will also help you have one-on-one in-depth mentorship sessions. The third way, and the third way in which we can help this young generation and the postmodern woman, and how we can improve on mentorship, is interacting with more than one mentor. And this can be through groups, and we can have forums whereby it's not just you who is mentoring this young lady, but there are also other individuals who can be able to interact. We can have question and answer sessions. You can have opportunities where the younger ladies can learn from us. They can ask us questions, and this gives them freedom to contact even other mentors. Maybe it's you who is their primary mentor. However, when there is also a group, there are certain matters they can be like, okay, let me go to Tabitha, or let me go to Grace, or let me go to Mercy for these particular issues. And they are likely to also learn from others. And this removes a lot of awkwardness, especially like in group sessions, whereby you'll find like it's an opportunity for people to share, but at times you wonder, okay, where am I going to start? What am I going to say? So when we have group forums and groups whereby others are also able to interact with other older women, this helps them to remove that awkwardness and also learn from other people. And I like what one of our viewer, Musa Lekpe, is saying, that he doesn't think that mentorship is enough. Sorry, I don't think enough is being some. If you look around and see what's happening to our younger ladies, you see more needs to be done. I agree very, very much on that. And also, he continues to say that instead of mentorship, ladies are shown how to be advocates, and more so to overpower men. Competition rather than complementation, more so in relationship. I totally agree with that. And mentorship is about building, it's about empowering. And by empowering, at times empowerment and mentorship are two totally different things. So mentorship is more of helping them to understand, being better individuals, be self-aware, get to understand what is their role, even when it comes to matters of relationships and all that. And that's why we are saying, also when we interact with other bigger groups, the ladies will get to learn also from the other individuals. Remember we said, by the way they are also doing their things, and their godliness and faith, are they being seen in your mentor? Then the fourth is, allow her to choose what to talk about. We have found in some forums whereby individuals are imposing their own values to the young ladies. I don't believe that is mentorship, because mentorship is guiding, and the individual will actually be in a position to make their choice. Because also this young generation, just like we have said, we have a generation that is very open to mentorship, and this generation also is hungry to get the godly influence from us. But are we there? Are we available? And when we allow them to choose what to talk about, even in these guided forums, they will want a biblical perspective, additional perspectives, but don't tell her what to discuss. You could suggest what you've picked, for example, remember we said it's important to have the one-on-one sessions when we said you're going to identify a young lady who you're going to work with, and maybe even in your one-on-one sessions you've discovered maybe they're not assertive, they have a lot of fear, they are not very sure of their role even when it comes to matters of relationship and what the Bible says and all that. So what you had picked in the one-on-one sessions, this is now what you will allow them to propose, even as they remember we said they're going to have gained self-awareness, so they're probably even going to say, I've realized I am very fearful, and can we talk about fear? And from the discussion and the real-time talk in this guided discussion that they have raised, wow, I want to know more about fear. I want to know how can I be able to be more assertive. And at times we may assume that the younger generation do not know what they want to hear, but they do. At times it's just because they have not been given the chance to actually pinpoint it out. And you as the mentor can be able to have guided discussions, which are very key. And at times also another assumption is that the younger generation never have a need for mentors. And this shows that they actually have that need. And at times these forums, they are not there. Maybe they are there, but they are also not accessible. And we are here to say that these forums are there. Reach out, connect yourself with people who you can journey with, people who are open to share with you, people who you are also being accountable to them to correct you. And with that, you'll be able to grow and also get to understand yourself better. And just to emphasize on the last point, that we need to allow them and have these discussions. For example, like if I may use that example of fear, what does the Bible talk about fear? How can they overcome it? And at times, fear is a crippling factor. You find that you're very fearful. There's a point you want to put across. You're not even confident enough as a young lady to just put it across and share. And at times, there's a lot of stigmatization out there that maybe I cannot be able to speak in a crowd. And it's important for you to know, okay, how can I build that? How can I just believe in myself? How can I also journey with someone to help me just build on me and how I believe in myself and how I am assertive in the way I speak, the way I interact with people. And assertiveness is not being aggressive. And assertiveness is also not being a person who cannot take feedback, because also feedback is part of growth. And in case we do not allow ourselves to get feedback, we will not be able to grow. So it's important for us to ask ourselves, are we doing enough? And back to the questions we began with, how was your experience in matters of mentorship? And maybe I can give a small feedback on how mentorship has had an impact, because I believe mentorship has a great impact in our lives. And when we find individuals who worked with us and who are willing to be keen, who are willing to sit with us, who are willing to give us counsel, I believe that has a great impact. And the same way I was mentored and I was also available, because yes, mentorship opportunities are there. Mentorship opportunities can be there, but it's important to also ask yourself as a young lady, are you available to be mentored? Are you willing to sit down, listen, ask, journey with someone, get feedback? Are you available? And at times we find ourselves being too busy with other things and we forget that, wow, I also have my life. I have to also impact myself with knowledge. I have to build and get skills and acquire skills. So are you available? And in case you're available, also, are you going to the right avenues to receive this mentorship? Because maybe you've been going through forums, but the kind of mentorship you're getting probably is not in part to what you thought or what you envisioned mentorship as. So connect yourself with opportunities, connect yourself with avenues whereby you can get good counsel, and we'll keep having more of these conversations, getting to understand ourselves better. Feel free to also drop in the questions. And what do you think about mentorship? Do you feel, and do you think we are doing enough as a society? Do you feel we are doing enough to mentor our young ladies to be better individuals, to be better ladies who understand God's word, who understand where they are, who understand where they want to be? And yes, I just wanted us to have that thought and question ourselves and what should we do to make it better. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to see you for more of these discussions.